welcome to another edition of the Market Review, where we bring you developments in the financial and capital market as it relates to the economy. Today is Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020, where we look at developments in the fixed income, bonds, and derivatives markets. Today we'll be discussing the third annual FMDQ Gold Awards, which is celebrating excellence in Nigeria's fixed income currencies and derivatives market. It's scheduled for November 6th, 2020 in a very special format. And to discuss these awards and creating more value in the market segment that we're focusing on today is Kaodi Ugoji. She's the Group Chief Operating Officer of FMDQ. She's here to discuss, joining us on the show.
Thank you, Otto.
Yes.
First, tell us more about the GOLD acronym, which is associated with FMDQ, and what this means for the market.
GOLD is FMDQ's acronym for Global Competitiveness, Operational Excellence, Liquidity, and Diversity. And this agenda is what keeps FMDQ awake at night. GOLD is our measure for the Nigerian financial markets under FMDQ's purview. GOLD is the measure that we have set to see development and growth in our markets. As we can tell from global competitiveness, how competitive are we in the international landscape? Operational excellence, you spoke to technology. How seamless are transactions and processes within the markets? Liquidity, the bedrock of any market, and diversity in terms of diversity of players, diversity of products, and just making sure that the market is deep. And so that is what GOLD means to FMDQ. All the activities that FMDQ and market stakeholders are putting together to ensure that we take the market to the level that it deserves, right beside its international counterparts.
Well, nice to know. Now, judging from the highlights of the events held over the last 2 years, the FMDQ Gold Awards is fast becoming a signature beacon for celebrating the strength and success of the Nigerian financial market, particularly the segment that is being captured. So with evident disruptions brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, and also the recent social unrest, which Lagos, Nigeria's economic and financial capital, was at a receiving end, and this has really brought a huge impact on the nation's economy. So my concern and what we want to get from you is, what should we expect from this FMDQ Gold Awards for this edition? What is unique about this particular year?
Indeed, it's a big shift for us. Otto, you've been part of the last two, and you know that is a way for us to celebrate the market in a big way. We all dress up glamorously. We come just sort of have fun together, recognize, it's usually in November, it's always in November, so it's a long year, towards the end of the year. It's just another avenue for all of us as a market to wind down together. It's usually something that we look forward to. Unfortunately, because of what you've mentioned, we're unable to have that big fun day that we typically have. But despite that, we thought it was very important to still recognize participants in the market, because indeed, for such a turbulent year, they need to even be more rewarded and recognized for the hard work and the efforts, and for making sure that the markets continued, almost seamlessly. It's something to celebrate. It's something to recognize. And so we thought we won't skip Gold Awards this year. We would celebrate everyone, but we'll do it a bit differently, what we call by publication. So come November 6th, we will still publish all the winners, finalists, nominees for the FMDQ Gold Awards for 2020.
Yeah.
But fingers crossed, I dare say that we look forward to catching up in 2021, November 5, where we will make up for the fun that we didn't have this year. But indeed, congratulations to everyone, because it's worth celebrating what happened in the markets this year.
Now, Kaodi, what has been the significant milestones marked this period between October 9, 2019 to September 2020, this period in review for these annual awards?
Okay, there have been a few. Like I said, participants have been hard at work.
Yes.
This year, we saw quite a few increased numbers in the issuers. We had the largest bonds issued on FMDQ so far. We've had the largest commercial papers issued on FMDQ and issued in the markets so far. We've had issuers from various categories of the economy. And one of the things that we were able to do this year was to create a corporate securities benchmark. Now, you know that we have federal government securities and we have benchmarks for the federal government securities. But you find that it's difficult for issuers in the corporate bond market or corporate securities market to find a benchmark to place, to give them an idea of what the market is doing or what the market, is seeing at those times. And interestingly, we're very proud to say that this year we have been able to create a benchmark or benchmarks from 4 different corporate institutions, one in the telecoms industry, one for natural gas, one in the manufacturing industry, and one for infrastructure. So for us, that was a big deal. And this was only made possible because we had issuers from all of these categories issue and list their securities on FMDQ. Also, we know that this year was, in fact, more recently, the president assented on CAMA 2020, which we have been long looking forward to. And that has major impacts on the capital markets and financial markets. Our long-awaited derivative products would ride on the back of this. Indeed, shortly after, the SEC licensed or gave approval in principle for Central Counterparties, another much needed infrastructure in the market, and FMDQ Clear was one of them. So all these events have sort of set the market from the fixed income market, which is fast developing, into the derivatives market, which is a much needed market for investors, issuers, both local and foreign investors. So for us, we're seeing a depth that is coming up from fixed income market and moving towards derivative markets, which is widening our market. So very, very key milestones this year. We're excited. We're looking forward to building a derivatives market in Nigeria that is thriving, that can support investors and other users of derivatives in Nigeria. And with the CAMA and with the SEC's rules and approval in principle, we think that we're ready for the next phase of the market come 2021.
I must say that, yes, there's a remarkable work that has been done in the FMDQ in helping to really, like you said, reposition the fixed income and derivatives market. Particularly, very nice to hear that the corporate securities benchmark is being rolled out, covering 4 sectors of interest, and I'm happy the telecommunications, manufacturing are captured in that regard, and also what you said about the derivatives space and what is going to happen. A lot to look out for, even as it has to do with the Central Counterparty. I mean, it's really nice to hear those things. But let's look forward, and as the year is winding down, I must once again bring to the fore the fact that all the major exchanges have been really on top of their game, apt, precise, concise, and strategic in ensuring that amidst the pandemic, amidst the social unrest, the market was able to continue to trade, to carry out activities thanks to technology, and also carrying out safety measures of protocol for all staff. FMDQ is not also exempted from this very remarkable step. So speak to us about what the plan is as the year begins to wind down. Of course, it's been an eventful year, but what should we expect as 2020 wraps up and we begin to move into 2021?
We have ensured that all our trading platforms, our clearing platforms, all our platforms are web-based. So transiting was not a major issue for us because we were already available web-based. We didn't have any fixed infrastructure that we had to migrate. So that made the transition for the market seamless in the sense that everyone was able to continue trading from wherever they were situated without any issues or hitches. Of course, there was a bit more engagement for the market, with the market for us, trying to ensure that processes were fine-tuned and revised where necessary to make sure that everything was seamless. I think that it would be remiss of us to think that this is behind us. So one of the things that we're doing is ensuring that we even build further our technology platforms to make sure that we are ready for growth within that space. It is obvious that this is the new normal. Well, it's obvious that it has come to stay. We have to make sure we put infrastructure in place, put the right security in place to make sure that all our participants can trade, clear and settle their transactions seamlessly and securely, which is very important for us. On the other front, I already spoke to derivatives markets and CCP. Towards the end of the year into 2021, we will spend time putting forward our products in the derivatives markets. We still have 2 products that we want to launch in the near term to start up the market, and we continue our product development from there. Again, ensuring that the CCP is set up. In fact, FMDQ had begun to prepare for this journey. As you are aware, we have been a clearinghouse since 2017, and the wisdom of the board, they actually set aside 100% of the retained earnings of the company as a default resolution reserve. And that default resolution reserve was to build financial resiliency for the clearinghouse and indeed for when it becomes a central counterparty. And we're looking at building this reserve to $30 billion. So indeed, it is something that we have started preparing for. And so we're just going to ensure that we put everything we need to do in place to make sure that we are ready to support the derivative markets when it comes. 2020 also saw the beginning of the private markets for FMDQ. So we've set up the FMDQ private markets, and one of the things that we're trying to do is to encourage private companies to tap the markets, to benefit from the markets. And we have begun to see interest in this area. We're going to spend the rest of 2020 and into 2021 developing this market, creating the right architecture and creating the right infrastructure for these private market participants. Again, we also got our license or got approved, our rules approved by the SEC for our equity trading rules. We're also putting things in place to be able to create a new market for the equities. So we're not looking basically to, to come into the market to take whatever is in the market, but we think that there is room to grow this market significantly so that there's room and there's enough for everyone. Those are some of the things that we're looking at. So we're looking forward to 2021 because we have a lot of initiatives that would help us further strengthen our position as Africa's first financial market infrastructure group.
Now, one thing, Kaodi, I know that you've been very instrumental to initiative that you've helped to drive, and of course, empowering the next generation, creating awareness, knowledge, financial education for students on how this market works. And it's really remarkable what has been happening. Now, we've had the pandemic, we've had the unrest, and of course, it has in a way impacted carrying out these sessions. What has been the learning point? Have you been able to deploy technology to continue this learning in terms of digital learning?
Yeah, indeed. That is something, like, as you know, so it's very dear to our hearts. And we were able to host some of the students this year via a webinar. And we were nervous at first because we wondered how they would react to that. But I guess, again, new normal, they started school virtually. So they were quite used to it. And it was a very successful events with almost 200 participants across 3 sessions. And it just again showed us that we need to do more in this space. Whilst the physical events are great because there's a lot of fun bonding sessions, but we know that we have to plan for the virtual sessions. We have to plan for what happens when they're at home and they're not able to come out to Exchange Place to Q Hub. So again, 2021, that is one of the things that we are working on, creating a platform that can reach the world pretty much, because virtually you can reach everyone.
Remarkable efforts from your team and what is really happening with the FMDQ. And Kaodi, I must say, we're looking forward to November 6, 2020, Friday, when the format of publishing the winners and the outstanding performers in the fixed income, currency, and derivatives market will come to the fore at the 3rd annual FMDQ Gold Awards. And we're wishing you all the best on that significant moment. Also, commendations to the entire team on working to continue to put the market as a globally competitive one, attracting more investments, creating more liquidity and value. And definitely, we are on the track to achieving great market value, and looking forward to a lot of events and activities as the year rounds up and even into the new year. But once again, it's been nice having Kaodi Ugoji. She is the Group Chief Operating Officer of FMDQ Group. She's been discussing around the 3rd FMDQ Gold Awards, which celebrates excellence in Nigeria's fixed income, currency, and derivatives market. It was nice having you on the show.
Thank you, Otto.
And that'll be all for this edition of the Market Review. You can join our website, www.prosharing.com, to watch our videos, read our news reports and analysis. If you log onto our website, go to the right bar and scroll, you would see bonds and fixed income. There we give you latest reports and analysis and stories covering this market, and also what FMDQ, a major player in this space, is doing in that regard. You can also follow FMDQ at FMDQ Group on Twitter to see various developments and activities that's going on in the markets. Till we come your way again, thank you for watching. Have a nice day and stay safe.